We're taking you out of bounds here on the Youth Sports Report. We're going to look into everything that you haven't in the world of sports. Okay, so check it out. We got the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs going on. It's time we take a look at these brackets to see exactly where we are so we can determine who's going to hoist their respective trophies at the end of this season.
Sure, we'll start off with the NBA bracket. We're looking at it right now. Golden State currently in round 2, but who they'll play against is to be determined.
Portland.
All right, Portland. Portland's going to take it. OKC and San Antonio. Khalil, I know you have thoughts on that.
I think the San Antonio Spurs are going to do their thing, either sweep them or win in 5 games, because if they can do that, that'll give them a chance to rest. The Spurs need the rest with the trio of Ginobili, Duncan, and Parker. I think that's going to pull it off.
That's going to be a great matchup, but like Khalil said, I think San Antonio is going to take it. So Golden State versus San Antonio, ultimately for the West.
Ooh, that's what we've been waiting for.
That's going to be a matchup to remember.
Will Steph be healthy or not?
I don't know. I hope he is.
So do I.
But I guess we'll see. For the East, we know that Cleveland's already moved on, but who will they take on? Likely Atlanta.
It looks like they're going to take on Atlanta, and that should be a very, very good series. Don't forget, those two played their hearts out in the Eastern Conference Championship last season. That should be a good one. Charlotte up 3-2 over Miami. I know your Hornets are looking good. It looks like they're going to be able to pull that off. And Toronto, Indiana, that one's going to go 7 games. I think Paul George, we have not heard the last from him yet.
No, and I think Toronto has a fire now that they're hoping to hold on to and keep Indiana out of the next round. So if it is Charlotte versus Toronto, it could be close for Charlotte. I think that's a difficult matchup.
Ooh, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that. And we'll see who can really pull it off over the winner of the Atlanta-Cleveland series. Because, look, Cleveland is playing at a different level than they have in the entire season. It looks like the big three for them are finally really gelling and clicking. They're getting a lot of contributions from J.R. Smith. But don't discount the Hawks. I think they're mad. I think they're ready to play.
Yeah, and you know, in this series, they have shown that they've got a little bit of intensity, and they're trying their hardest to be consistent, which with pro sports and in the playoffs is the most important thing for them. Patience and the ability to wait it out.
That's right.
It's going to show whether they are worth the next round or not.
Yes.
So fans, keep an eye out, because we have lots of NBA playoff stuff to come. So stay tuned.
All right. On to an NHL bracket. Okay, these guys are on the ice. They're making it happen. Like we said before, some of the big teams are bumped. They're gone. No more Detroit Red Wings. No more Chicago Blackhawks. No more Los Angeles Kings. Look, the New York Rangers are gone. These are just the young upstarts, Kimberly. As a hockey fan, how do you feel about that?
You know, I feel really good about this Stanley Cup playoffs season. We're seeing some, like you said, some underdogs, some younger teams, some fresh faces get into the playoffs and get further into the playoffs. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for these teams to show that they are worth watching, to entice some new hockey fans potentially, and maybe we'll see a brand new Stanley Cup winner this year, a face we haven't seen in quite some time, and I think it's going to be a really interesting remainder of the playoffs.
Real quick, seeing who's left, who do you think is going to win?
That's difficult. You know, looking at the potential, I think Pittsburgh has a great opportunity. San Jose beating the LA Kings is huge for them, and they've got a lot of intensity going into these playoffs. So I think between Pittsburgh and San Jose, we'll see a lot of intensity in those teams, and there's a lot of young teams, so there's a lot of, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny that you mentioned Pittsburgh. They're going up against the Washington Capitals, and I think since Washington was able to kind of get over their early round exit woes this last series, look out for the Capitals. Alex Ovechkin is due a Stanley Cup champion win.
Fair enough. You know, his name is mentioned in some popular rap songs that you may not know of, so take a listen to those, because he's got a name that you should remember.
Ovechkin is the man. Okay, moving on to some Major League Baseball highlights. That's right, it's baseball season. We got to cover the game. Look, the weather's nice outside. It's spring. Baseball is in full effect. Let's take a look at the Kansas City Royals versus the Los Angeles Angels, the disappointing Los Angeles Angels. What's going on with Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, and these guys, Kimberly?
You know, I couldn't tell you where they are in most of their games, but in this game against Kansas City, the Los Angeles Angels stepped up when they needed to and put points on that board. And Kansas City, you know, having just won the World Series, I expected a lot more from them. And these Los Angeles Angels, you said it yourself, they've been pretty disappointing so far this season and in past seasons.
Yeah, they really have, but they're actually pulling it out. We got a 3-run home run right there. These guys, like you said, they lit up the scoreboard. They're going to need that. They don't have the strongest bullpen, although they do have a quality rotation in pitching. And a win like this against the defending World Series champs, sometimes that gives a team the, let's just say, the gumption and the belief that they can go forward and really play well. So we'll see how this turns around for these guys.
I think it'll be interesting to see if this win in particular boosts the Angels' self-esteem and carries them into the remainder of the season. Maybe we'll see some big wins. It'll be interesting.
We'll see that. It is highly possible and maybe probable, or as I call that, a possible probable. Moving on, we've got the Boston Celtics versus the lowly Atlanta Braves. Atlanta's an organization that in the 90s, they seemed to be winning everything, and now they can't even win at putt-putt. It's pretty tough for these guys. Boston Celtics had David Price on the bump, and they seem to be just on fire.
It seems a lot like Khalil has got some basketball on the brain.
Yes, yes.
But hey, the Boston Red Sox.
That was the catch of the year right there.
A beautiful play on behalf of the Braves. Unfortunately, not big enough to win this game for them.
No, David Price just fanning guys left and right.
Boston ultimately destroyed Atlanta 11-4.
11-4, ladies and gentlemen.
11-4. So that is not a game to joke about, folks. That was an amazing game for the MLB, for Boston Celtics or the Red Sox. Whoever they are, they played well.
They're playing Boston strong, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they're doing. Look, Atlanta keeps playing this way. Possibly they can get Stodge or one of these guys from the Lobos next year in the draft to help them out.
Hey, you know, the Atlanta, they need it. They need a lot of talent. And should they get a Lobos player, that's just a big win on their behalf.
Yes, a big win for Atlanta and a big win for the state of New Mexico as they're pulling it off. Okay, coming up, we got a combo, Players Club and the Big Bright Idea. We're going to talk about draft busts.
Yeah, not booms. I think the draft has been played into the ground as an exciting day. It is an exciting day, but like you said earlier in the show, there's a lot of potential for grief as well, so we're going to talk about some former busts and some potential busts this year.
Ooh, we'll see what happens. Coming up next on the U Sports Report.